Well, one of the forgotten decks is climbing back up the ranks. Make sure you guys smash the link, grab out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more us content. You know, our rankings out here have actually been kind of shifting around. We still have, of course, Malice sitting on the top of the throne out here. I'm not surprised to see that because Malice has just been absolutely dominating out here. And, of course, we still have the Blue Eyes Primite deck. Risle has climbed back out of the ashes of defeat out here, which is amazing to see. I see that we have Momento and Orcust. Yeah, or not surprised about that. True Draco making a slot down here at the B spot. I didn't expect that one. See, we also have some Tempai, Gem Knights, and Chimera. Okay. And then, of course, it looks like we have some Azamina, White Forest stuff. More of your Snake Eyes. Down here in D tier, we have some Magistus. We have some Branded, Dragon Maids, Labyrinth, Fiend Smith, and some water. You know, for the shift around in this, in the meta, I think that there's a lot of cool things to be seen here, especially with Magistus kind of climbing back up out here and trying to be a relevant deck. The fact that, you know, even on the low end of the competitive tier here, that you're actually seeing that deck do something is actually very refreshing. Let's pass on over to deck list. All right, so starting things off here is going to be our Malice special. I don't think anybody's too surprised to still see this deck doing so well. I see that we've gone back to actually main decking the shifters out here. Okay, I mean, rolling through the shifters, punishing your opponent always is going to feel just right. I see we've also got the Dominus Impulses built into this as well. I also do see we are playing the Nightmare Cerberus in here as well. That is a complete and utter change from some of the other little actions that we've been seeing. Okay, next up here is our Primite Blue Eyes, actually main decking the Lancia now. The famous skill drain in the main deck has been doing well. We're up to 2 Blue Eyes now. I see that we are playing a Ascension in here as well. Having the virtual world in here be present as like a little macrocosmo is actually kind of cool. I like that. Outside of that, I mean, it's still incredibly standard Blue Eyes shenanigans doing its thing. All right, next up here we have Risle. You know, 1EX still feels incredibly awful. I'm going to stick to that saying until, you know, the end of this. But in terms of what this deck's doing, Twins of the Eclipse is an exceedingly broken card, man. Like, it actually amazes me at how much power that card actually is able to bring to the table in this deck. But yeah, see we have the Lancia Searcher set up and some shark stuff in here. Okay, next up here we have Momento. You know, not really much changes with this deck each and every week. You know, they've completely cut out the Goblin Cage stuff. It's just more consistent for them not to worry about having that stuff, which, I mean, is fair. I can understand why it feels a little bit bulky at certain points. I see that we have the tack talents and stuff built in here as well. Yeah, this is pretty standard. All right, next up is Orcust. Triple Orchestrated Return. You're doing the 2 Foolish Burial Goods, being able to drop down the Orchestrated Return, trigger the search, being able to get everything going. I see that we are playing the Crown in the deck as the extender. I'll see we are doing the World Legacy Link 2 in here, which is kind of cute. We are doing Scythe Lock Shenanigans, which I'm still going to say is completely unfair and absolutely crazy to be seeing out here with that. But okay, I see you. Next up here we have Kristrons. In terms of I guess that was Kristrons and not Draco. In terms of what this deck still does, it's just a massive synchro powerhouse. Baron, DeFleur, and all the other generic synchro interactions. Also Clockwork Knight kind of being a little starter for this deck actually is kind of interesting. And of course I do see the 1 title in here as well. Don't underestimate what title can actually bring to this deck. We've all kind of learned our lesson about underestimating good cards. Tempai. Yeah, still must be nice to have triple Sengen summoning in here. We've gone to the triple Genroku in the main deck, triple Fuawars as to be expected. We're doing the Samurai Destroyer down here to clear boards. I see we're also relying on Super Poly, kind of clean up some of those more troublesome boards so we can actually play the game. Yeah, we We all know how stupid some of these very, very, very dumb interactions that you can kind of find yourself in out here with this deck. So a lot of board breakers present in this list too. Next up is Gem Knights. You know, ever since Gem Knights stripped out Block Dragon, I can say that I officially feel like I like this new version a lot more, but unfortunately we still are kind of clutching onto the Fiend Smith package in here. And there's nothing wrong with that. If the Fiend Smith stuff is going to be this generic powerhouse, you're going to do yourself a disservice to not actually have it. So at this point in time, you're just better off maximizing and making sure that you can play as much of the most broken stuff you can for it. Chimera, once again, Fiend Smith stuff present in here. We are playing the one copy of the Asset. Asset being the little free extender to be able to climb on into any of your fusions is also going to be really, really stupid. I think it's the reason why I love that idea so much. Literally, you just kind of set up and go. Let's see here. In terms of this list, I mean, the Sinister Necrom shenanigans into the adjusted gold is really, really stupid. It's the only deck in the room that is taking advantage of that for Fiend Smith. Next up is your White Forest Pile. Now, in terms of this deck is about to go through one of the better evolutions that we have seen in the game, and I'm actually kind of excited to see where we're going to do with this, because we're 2 weeks away from Supreme Darkness. Once this deck does get kind of the final boss monster stuff, you're going to see some really cool things. And the way this extra deck is already tight. I'm kind of curious to know how the new little pieces are going to shift this around. Oh, hey, we have our Snake Eyes deck. Now remember, TCG is never going to get the chance to mess around or explore this build because we did lose OSS, but the fact that, you know, you have the White Forest stuff in here with the Snake Eyes stuff, and you can kind of see that, you know, maximizing on the triple Assets in here is actually looking like the better play. Not even a Synchro Monster Insight, man. Just extra Link 2 fodder. You know, how much of the continuous extenders can we continue to put on the field here and continue building up while we're going? Okay. All right, next up here is our Majestus build. Now, I think that this is one of the coolest decks that we have had the chance to see come out of the woodwork out here because, you know, the White Forest stuff being extenders, but also, you know, getting access to all the new Crowley stuff is super exciting. Also, and unfortunately, this deck does get access to the Borreload Savage and the Baron de Fleur, which are both extremely powerful cards. I really wish that I could get the chance to actually see what those cards could do on our side of the game, but alas, we don't have them. Next up is Branded. Oh man, you know, playing 60 card Branded with double grass has just got to be one of the best feelings in the world, man. The fact that, you know, this deck just resolves, gets off to the groundwork and off to the races, and just, you know, you have Expulsion in here as well to gimmick puppet lock your opponent. But they've also got all the alt arts in here, so I greatly appreciate this Branded player completely sticking to this deck and being loyal. That's beautiful. Dragon Maids with Tenpai cards in here. Well, yeah, I mean, we may as well, right? Like, you're already using the Dragon Maid stuff to keep the Congo line and negates going. We may as well play a Tenpai engine in here to close out the game because, you know, we've got the resources to do so. I feel like at that point in time, we're just doing ourselves a disservice not to be trying to take advantage of the better engines that we have. And, you know, combining the two together, it's a very small package. Like 3 monsters. You've already playing the Sengen Kaimens, and then 1 main deck spell card. Okay, sure. Next up is Labyrinth. Hello, Dominuses. Hello, Destructive Durham Cannons. Hello, Solemn Strikes. All of the stupid power cards that you are going to need to run through your opponent is all wrapped up in a very nice bow here, and that's the reason why we enjoy Labyrinth. Also, this deck has an incredibly good risle matchup. Like that's the reason why you want to play this deck, is for its anti-meta power. Next up is our Fiend Smith normal monster pile. I love the fact that, you know, our Loathly Lord into Tremors is full Fiend Smith combo. The cool thing about this deck that I'm always going to love is this deck just relies on the premise of just setting up a Fiend Smith monster and rolling with it. And it really is very telling to see how much power that the Fiend Smith package actually just has going for itself here. Especially, you know, with the White Dowstons just being your only normal monster in here next to the driver. All right. And then, of course, our last list here is some Mermail. Mermail has not been getting hardly any respect. It is continued to fall in the OCG, but this build is playing the Water Barrier statue, which does make it a little bit more more accessible, or at least looks a little bit more playable out here than some of the other iterations that we've been seeing. You know what? I think that's fine. You know, also only one minstrel. I don't like that at all, but they're trying here. So what do you guys think about today's awesome breakdown? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.